Hi and welcome to this video in the QPSMR Digging Deeper series, and in this video we're going to be looking at importing a file from SSS and then outputting that file back to Excel, and also looking at perhaps changing the questionnaire, adding some data in Excel and pulling it back in to our project. So let's get started on that. The first thing we're going to do then is to have a look at what we've got in this project. And you can see I've got two files here, a SSS XML file and a SSS ASCII file that actually stores the raw data from our survey that I've exported from another piece of software. So let's go back to QPS. Let's import this project by going File, Load a SSS file. I'm navigating now to the folder in which it's in. There it is, the XML file. Click on that. The questions all pop up there for me. I need to save this now, so I'm going to save this as new project. There we go. So there's my project, and I can immediately start doing analysis on this using the drill down or summary tools. And you can see there's my 4 records, and I can do age by gender and with percentages, and I'm immediately into my data. So we've got 2 males, 2 females, and some different age groups here for our 4 respondents in this survey. So now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that data into Excel so that I can add some data in manually in Excel, maybe to share it with a colleague so they can do that. And then I'm going to amend the questionnaire and add another question in. So let's do the first step. Let's update this data file, open it. There's our data, so we can see it all looks pretty good, what's come in from SSS, and now I'm going to export it. So I'm just going to reopen the file, browse, and you can see, having done that, I've got 4 records here, and I'm now ready to move that into Excel. So I click on Next. I want all the records. Now, if I leave it as this option, a readable output file, it'll come out as text. So let's click Next and just have a look at that and finish and save. And of course, this is a good file that you can send to people to communicate the data. They can do pivot tables in Excel. This is a really useful file for people to work on. But I want one that's in terms of codes because I want to re-import this data back to QPSMR. So I'm going to quit that. And cancel that, and I'm going to do the export again this time so that I get codes. So export the data, open this file again, there's the 4 records. Through the next again, I want all the records. This time I'm going to pick QPSMR portable file. I want all the questions, I don't want to reorder them in any way, and click finish, and I'm going to now overwrite that file that had the text in it before. And sure enough, now you can see I've got the same file with in terms of codes. And let's say we want to add a couple of records here manually and perhaps even correct some data. So I'm going to make this a 1 and a 1. And I'm going to quickly make up the answers here to these fields. And just to show that I'm changing the data, I'm going to make all of the original 4 respondents female and the new one here and just 1 male now. And I'm going to make both of these the youngest age group. So you can see what I've done. I've added in some data, and I'm going to add in now a 10th question. So question 10, let's pretend it's a yes/no question, and we'll have half of them saying yes and half no. So what I've done now is add 2 records. I've added a question. I've actually changed the gender data. So let's save that and close it and cancel this out. Now let's go back to my questionnaire. Let's add in that 10th question. Change it to single. It's a width of 1. Ever travel abroad? So do you ever travel abroad? And the responses will just have a simple yes, no here. So that's my 10th question that I'm adding in. And I'm going to save this. And it's telling me that it's changing the record length because I'm adding in a new question. So let's save it. So now we've got the extra question into our questionnaire, and we've also got the data with that extra data in there for question 10. So I'm going to refresh the data file. I'm going to browse. I'm going to pick that SSS exported file up. Click OK. Click OK again. Update the data now. And you can see I've got 6 records with the new data, which means if I want to, I could save it back to my original file that I had if I wanted to, but I might be a little bit more conservative here and call it new, or I could just overwrite the original SSS.as file. We'll keep a copy of that in the archive. So I need to save. I can go into analysis, get a summary report, and if I go to question 10, there's my new data there. My gender now is 1 male and 5 females, and everything looks pretty good. And I could obviously proceed to doing tables or using data drill down to produce that same table, which I think I had gender as the row, age as the columns, and sure enough, there is my new data that's been edited. So it's very easy to manipulate data. You can import it from somewhere else. You can export it back to Excel, either as text so that colleagues can browse that data in Excel, produce lists, run pivot tables, for example. But also we could change our questionnaire and pull it back by bringing in and making a portable file for and bringing it back in with the changes that I've made here. So I hope that's been useful to you. It's given you an idea of some of the things that you can do when manipulating data in the QPSMR companion. Thank you.